how to handle every single objection as a salesperson without doing objection handling. I run a mastermind called the Unicorn Closer Mastermind where I teach salespeople a way of selling called Self-Actualized Sales. How to sell more by becoming more, not memorizing or reading word tracks or faking your tonality, but actually doing the deep inner work, transforming your identity where your prospects want to move forward with you and buy from you right now because of who you've become. Now, we teach a way of selling that allows closers to do that has taken 5 closers, one including me, to all earning over $100,000 a month in commissions. We've all done that within 17 months or less. And there is no scripts, there is no word tracks, there is nothing to memorize. You are learning to read and understand human beings and to follow spiritual principles that allow you to be in alignment with the truth. Now, what do you do then when you get objections and you don't have word tracks? You don't have objection handling training. You haven't been role-playing objections. Well, that is one of the challenges that one of my clients was having. He'd already mastered the discovery, but he was getting a few objections and he wanted to know, how do I handle these objections without wanting to go and do traditional objection handling training, which is just faking memorized metaphors and analogies? So I jumped on a one-on-one call with him, which is what you're about to see, to show him how to handle every single objection by using self-actualized sales, 0 word tracks, 0 scripts, and that is this training that you're about to discover. So without any further ado, let's crack in. Dr. Robin, so what is your biggest challenge as a high-ticket closer right now?
After I've done a deep discovery, I had a great scriptless discovery and conversation with the person or the prospect, I find myself weakest if and when they have some objections, the classic objections at the end. It's nice when they don't have objections, and that's more common, but when they do, I just don't really know how to handle them. And I don't want to sound scripted, and I also don't want to sound, I don't know, like a dick.
Okay. So you're doing the discovery. You think you're doing that for the most part correctly, but there are still some circumstances where if it happens, when it happens, you're getting some objections. And the main thing is, however you're going to solve them, you don't want it to be scripted.
Correct.
Okay. So the first question to kind of tie you down on this is, why not just go and learn objection handling in the traditional sense with word tracks?
Well, from being in the mastermind for 18 months, I just know that there's so much more that I can become as a better person and closer than just memorizing a bunch of word tracks that will not then fit the context of the amazing discovery that I've just had.
Okay. What about if you've been in this mastermind for all of this time and you're still getting some objections, and maybe the premise of be a scriptless closer, don't have to really handle objections, maybe that was all wrong. Maybe you joined the wrong mastermind. You should have just learned scripted selling from the beginning.
I don't think so, Josh.
Why not? Because you're
Well,
getting some objections, so something's got to have
I
gone
mean,
wrong.
it's true. I do get some objections sometimes, but the the life change and the person change and the spiritual change and the opportunities and all the closes that I have had as a result, a direct result of being in the mastermind, are just worth way more than simply closing deals, regardless of the method.
Okay. So then correct me if I'm wrong and you see another set of alternatives. I see that there's a few different options for you. Option 1 is the way you've learned sales, spiritual, transcending, inner work, etc., has been great. Your words, paraphrasing. Maybe there's just a reality where it works 9 out of 10 times, but the 10th time you're going to get an objection and you're probably not going to be able to handle it because you don't want to memorize a bunch of word tracks. That's option 1. Option 2 is there is something that you are doing or are not doing in what you've already been training and learning, which is why you're still getting these objections.
Yes,
Which one of those is it?
the latter.
Okay. So to tie you down again, are you saying that 100% you believe that the reason that you're still getting, if and when, some objections is nothing to do with the methodology you've learned just has a few leaks in it, which is okay, it's worked a load of times, I've really enjoyed it, it's been really transformational, but I'm going to get some objections every now and then, and I can't handle them unless I wanted to do scripted. To double check on the tie down, are you saying no, I believe there's a way that I can do what I'm doing, how I'm doing it with the methodology, but still either not get any objections or still be able to handle them?
Yeah, I think I can definitely still do scriptless selling and doing what I've been trained and get better at it and in the pursuit of mastery at it, and still sometimes, 95 times out of 100, or the contrary, 5 times out of 100, still get objections. And I just want to find a way to how to handle them in a non-scripted, scriptless selling way that is authentic.
I'm right there with you. We can't get there until I've tied down something. And as you know from scripted selling, there's no right or wrong. I really don't care either way. But there's either a belief, and it could be true, that your belief around why you're in the situation you're in, which is 95 out of 100 times you close a deal, 5 times you get objections and it sounds like not closing them. I'm trying to clarify in your mind, because the truth is within you, not within me. Do you have a belief that is, yeah, maybe it's just only going to work 95% of the time and it is what it is? Or do you have the belief that, well, the second one actually is, or you could do 95 out of 100 closes and learn some scripted objection handling for the extra 5? Or the other alternative, the final one, is no, I really do believe that there's a way that I can be full scriptless, never learn a word track for objections, and get to 97 out of 100 or even 100 out of 100. What is your belief right now?
I definitely think there is a way to overcome objections using scriptless selling, using the methodology I've been trained without needing to learn word tracks. It's just the next area of training that I haven't really focused on.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now let's break the fourth wall. Why do you think I'm starting with this rather than what objections are you getting? How many are you getting? What's it costing you to lose the objections? Why am I not starting with that?
Well, we're clearing the way of like a straight pathway or a road for me to follow and stick on, rather than not knowing that this is a road I just need to figure out and learn from and be deviated and go down a different road. I just need to follow the same road, go all the way down and make sure it's clear before embarking on it.
Hmm. Because imagine if I spent the whole call now going through what it's costing you, why that sucks, how your wife doesn't love you anymore because you can't handle 5 out of 100 objections. Just kidding with you. And we get to the end of the call, and there's still this mind virus, which it could have been, which is I just don't think scriptless selling can close me 100 out of 100. Then I would have just wasted my whole time. So teaching you scriptless while I'm training you, the first thing in my mind is there even a sale to be made here? A sale of selling you the idea of doing some other form of training, not scripted, to be able to get those extra 5 out of 100 deals over the line. Does that make sense why I'm starting with this?
100%.
It'd just be a complete fucking waste of time otherwise. Okay. So again, triple tying you down. You've said, yes, I don't need to learn any word tracks. I also don't think scriptless selling just inherently is only going to be 95% successful. You're saying, if I'm getting this right, your belief is you can increase from 95 somewhere all the way up to 100 out of 100 without having to learn any word tracks. And that's baked into the self-actualized selling methodology.
Yeah, bingo.
Okay. So what do you think, if you're being really honest with yourself, you are either dropping the ball on, not fully executing, or completely unaware of that you just haven't received any training on as to why those extra few deals aren't going over the line using self-actualized sales?
I do feel like there is less of a focus and a training for it from what I have been through in UCM so far in general for that latter part of the call after the pitch and after the price drop. Like you don't really teach us objection handling, you know,
Why do
definitely
you
not
think?
in a way
Why
that
do
other people do.
Why do you think that is?
And I agree with you. I think it's I, it's just when you have an amazing discovery, there's no need for objection handling because there's no objection. So if you focus on that and nail that, then you don't need objection handling scripts.
And you sounded pretty certain in the belief when you said that.
Yeah.
So are you that? So if that's your belief and you're getting 5 out of 100, are you saying that you're just not doing a masterful discovery on those five?
It could be better, yeah, for sure.
And so, which is the best use of your time? Or we could maybe forget time and we could say more truth versus falsehood, trying to or wanting to have additional training for the end of the call after you've pitched and after you get some objections, or reviewing what you're still not perfecting in the discovery. Because there's an argument that you could do both, but you've only got so much time. And so what is the better thing to do?
Well, it would be nice to if my skill level 0 to 100, if my skill level of discovery of a scriptless discovery, let's say, is 80,
Mm-hmm.
but then being able to run, let's call it a post price drop rediscovery. So
Mm-hmm.
like they've said no, or they need to think about it, or wife, or whatever it is. If my skill for that part, that second latter discovery, it feels only like 20 out of 100. So I wonder if there's a way of, if there's a difference in the skill, pre-discovery and post-discovery, let's call it, can I upgrade this skill?
You can. But what I'm saying is the same amount of hours that you would train to learn what to do at the end is the same amount of hours that you could put in to just get better at the discovery. And I need to understand your mental model. Do you think you're better suited to take your discovery from an 80 to a 90 and keep this at a 20 out of 100? Or do you think you're better to keep this at an 80 and try and get this to from a 20 to a 30?
Right. Yeah, bring it up from 20 to 50
So you
on this
think
one.
just leave this where it's at and focus on this now?
I think that focusing on this will also probably bring this up a bit too, because I understand more about what might happen on this side of the discovery, on this side of the sales call. And so
Mm-hmm.
by focusing on this one and improving that from 20, 30, 30 to 40, I might be able to get both up, go up, and close more deals in the short and long term.
I'm not clear on that. I'm not clear how, that's kind of like saying if I'm a basketball player, if I train to get better at getting the rebound, that will inherently make me better at shooting. I'm not clear on that.
Okay. Well, if I had a better understanding, knowledge, training, execution of what freaking objections are, why they might be happening, what's going through the prospect's mind, and all of those mental models that come on that side, if I have a better understanding with that, then on the front part, I can use that better understanding that I have about this and be able to better run a discovery and handle those obstacles before they become objections. That's my mental model right now.
Okay, I can hear you on that. And so it sounds like you've got a belief right now that the concerns post price drop and the way the prospect is thinking is almost black and white, or certainly very different to how they could be thinking in the discovery based on what you said and how you said it. That's the read I'm getting. Like, oh, that's a different version of the prospect. So why do you think it's different? In what way are they different?
I just feel that once the pitch has been done, the price has been dropped, now there's like more resistance.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas at the front part, they're super open, they're ready to go. There's no, yeah, there's less resistance, I feel.
100% agree with you. So then you have to ask yourself, is that different in type to what the challenges are in the discovery, or is it just different in degree? Because you're saying, well, the issue in the post price drop is that there's resistance. Well, yeah, but there's resistance in the discovery if you're doing the right discovery. So are those two things different in form, or are they just different in degree?
I think they're different in degree.
Correct. And you're right in why, because now they have to fucking get their credit card out. So the reason I'm taking you through that is to help you realize you don't have to do anything different post price drop in terms of your mechanics. You just have to up the ante. You getting the prospect over their falsehood in the discovery, the hill that you have to get them over is a hill of not much resistance because they don't have to pay you right now. You
Right.
still have to get them over the hill and get them out of their own rationalizing and get them out of their own excuses. But You breaking through that is just breaking through their excuses for the sake of their excuses. Whereas in the objection, it's, I've got to get you over your excuses to the point where you actually now take a physical action. But what you're doing, why you're doing it, and also how you're doing it is exactly the same. You just now have to dig your heels in.
Yeah, got it.
So when your prospect's in the discovery and they're not getting out of their own way and you're almost on the edge of an unsell and you're like, well, I'm just going to get off the call now. The difference in the discovery is you have to step more into, what's the word for it? It's like you can't really unsell the prospect in the objections because you need to help them over their fear of the price. That's why they're shitting their pants at that point. So you just have to really up the ante with like digging into what is the line here now in the objections of falsehood versus truth, and really get clarity around that with the prospect and really, really, really articulate it. You're not doing anything different than what you're doing in the discovery, which is why we don't teach it. Because if you're really choosing the identity of truth versus falsehood illuminator in the discovery, just do that in the objections. So to paraphrase a very cut together example, the prospect says, you know, you drop the price, the prospect's told you they're crippled with their issues in their finances or in their health, whatever you're selling. You drop the price and then they say, oh, you know what, Dr. Robin, I need to think about it. Well, what do you need to think about? Well, you know, I just need to think about the decision. The decision of what? Investing this amount of money to fix this big problem that's crippled you for years, that you've been lying about, that you've been downplaying, that you've been ignoring? Is thinking about it a different approach to what you've been doing for the last 3 years? No. So what really is the issue then? The issue, Dr. Robin, is I'm scared. Scared of what? Wasting the money. Well, that's a big thing to say. Are you saying that you think we're going to scam you? No. Okay, so if you don't think we're going to scam you, what are you afraid of wasting the money? Well, you know, what if it doesn't work? Well, it might not, but how is that something you need to think about? Tomorrow, there's still a level of uncertainty. This treatment might not work. This program might not work. You might not do the work. You see what I'm doing? Like I'm just doing the same things that I would do in the discovery. The difference is I really have to hold the line now because the price is on the table. There's nothing different to do. Is this clear?
Yep.
How many deals have you already lost this week that you could have closed but didn't because you were out of state? I'm not a fan of sales hacks, but if there was one thing you could do before your next sales call to raise your closing percentage, it's using my patented pre-call checklist. Imagine taking just 60 seconds to read 5 to 7 personalized bullet points on a piece of paper, and as unbelievable as it may sound, puts you into the optimal state to access your highest sales skills on every call. That's the pre-call checklist. I'm going to show you how to create your own. All you need is a piece of paper and to go through the training that I'm going to give you. Thousands of salespeople have used this framework to close more deals, and you can have your own for free. No strings attached, in a matter of minutes. Click the link below this video, enter your email, and grab it right now.